wish someone sat me down and told me this before my first ever proper relationship. And this video, if you're watching this, will probably be for the people who are younger. You're most likely a young girl or guy watching this, and I'm not encouraging that or recommending young relationships at all. I feel like it's more common in our early teens, late teens, even like in primary school to get into a relationship because of hormones and puberty, and we're curious and we're just, you know, we're just having fun. Not really, it's kind of toxic and really the worst time of your life to be getting into a relationship. I'm not encouraging that. I'm just saying it's more common, and for me personally, that's what I wanted at the time. So I wish someone could have told me this stuff at the time. I had to learn it all the hard, shitty way, which sometimes you do have to do. It is good learning things on the job, as they say, but I think it's also really healthy and important to go into things and relationships knowing stuff about yourself and the dynamic of a relationship too. Before we talk about them and the relationship itself, we have to talk about you, because nobody will really tell you this and you don't really realize it, but your first relationship doesn't really begin when you meet the other person. It begins with you. It starts way earlier. It begins with how you talk to yourself, how you treat yourself when you're alone or with people, and how much of a person you already are when someone comes into your life. You know that feeling when you're at a party or you've just had a big night out and you've done some shitty things and you've said shitty things, and your friend hands you a cup or a bottle of water, and it's like you have that deep chat and it's like, wow, you kind of feel emotionally called out and you feel just drained and heavy. This is probably how this episode is gonna feel, and part two. Part two will be up next week, and that will obviously be focusing on, you know, how to be a partner to someone. So make sure you watch next week's episode, or else you will have 7 days of bad luck and you will have shitty, chunky grey marches for the rest of your life. Self-awareness, 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 self-awareness. I know it's a thing that's quite commonly thrown around these days, and it can be like, yeah, I'm so self-aware. Like, I am like that too, but it's something when you're in high school that you don't have. And I wish I had more self-awareness at that time. And you might think that, you know, being self-aware is knowing your attachment style or being able to say I have trust issues, which yeah. But it's also about noticing patterns within yourself, and even the ugly ones and the nice ones, but you have to really look and hold up a mirror to yourself. It's about noticing how you react and respond when someone takes too long to reply to you, how quickly your mood depends on other people, or how you avoid situations and confrontations. Do you chase reassurance from the other person, and do you disappear into a relationship, or do you pull out completely? Sometimes this growth can start with you, you know, reposting a quote to your Instagram story and being like, growth, you know? But that's not really growth. That's a good start. Because I've been there. Before you get into a relationship, if you're thinking of getting into one or you want to get into one, it's really important to ask yourself some questions. Do I expect someone else to regulate my emotions for me? Do I know how I act when I feel rejected, bored, or insecure? Do I confuse intensity with connection? And you don't have to fix all of these things, and you don't have to have perfect or even fully understand your answers, but you just need to notice them. Something very, very vital that I think a lot of people tend to forget and overlook, and it will come and bite them in the ass later, and I saw it firsthand in high school. Your life should already be full, and by full I don't mean busy, I don't mean schedule booked and plans with your friend to go get a matcha. I mean fulfilled within your heart, your soul. For you, your hobbies, your routines, your interests matter more than you think. There is a difference between, you know, being busy to distract yourself versus having things that genuinely ground you. And the truth is, when you don't have your own life, your relationship becomes your life, which you might think that's a beautiful, wonderful thing. I would disagree. When a relationship becomes your entire life, everything feels so much bigger than what it needs to be. It's not healthy, and I will maybe talk about that more in part two. Stay tuned, because those are the moments when you're, you know, sitting at work and you're refreshing your text messages and you're like, okay, I'm clocking into my shift to check text messages from the person. You start waiting for texts like it's your job when you're actually meant to be working at your job. I want to encourage you to have at least one thing that doesn't involve anyone else, friends, family, purely just you. Have something that you do even when you are single or you're bored, and maintain your friendships, your other relationships, even when you're getting into this romantic relationship. Don't put them on pause and don't neglect them. And your parents might have told you this, or your big sister or your cousin, that the healthiest relationships add to your life. They don't replace it, and it's so fucking true. And you might overlook that truth and be like, oh, fuck. Shut up, Island. It's being told for a reason. It's not just pulled out of people's ass. Although some things are pulled out of my ass, but that is not. That was bad. Something that I personally really struggle with, and I, like I said, learned this full firsthand, is emotional responsibility. Now, I have always been the type of person who blamed other people for things. I was raised like that. You know, the people in my life still do that to this day, and it's something that I'm continuously trying to unlearn and unteach myself, that yeah, someone might have said something shitty, but I'm responsible for my reaction. I didn't have to react that way. I could have been like, well, you said that, so that's why I'm aggressive now. No, that is a fucking cop-out. Emotional responsibility does mean not making your bad day their fault, and vice versa. Not outsourcing your happiness, and not even constantly expecting the other person to reassure you. Your partner is not your fucking emotional support animal. Like, yes, some men are dogs. Okay, sorry, that was harsh. Yes, your partner will support you, and they should absolutely support you, but they are not trained for this either. You guys are the same. Before you get into a relationship, you need to be able to sit with your discomfort without going into a panic attack, without spiraling. Learn to self-soothe and have your own back. And practice communication without exploding or shutting down, because once again, that is something that I really struggle with. I was either complete fire and rage, or I was mute and aggressive. And I really struggled to find that in-between balance, especially, this was like when I was, 13, 14. Like, I'm in those prime years of hormonal imbalance, and I'm just so confused with my emotions and my physical appearance. But it's something that I wish someone had explained to me. Like, it's okay that you're going through this, but long-term you can't keep on like that. Especially if you're thinking of dating that boy. Like, you don't even have yourself. And as I said at the start, I really do not encourage you to date when you're young. If anything, I'm gonna say, do not fucking date in high school. Don't do it. Don't do it. But I know people are going to do it regardless of what I say, so hence why I'm making this video. Also, this isn't me saying that you can't need people. It just means that you don't need them in order to survive your feelings. A key part of myself that I think I did gladly establish early on for myself were boundaries with myself. And often people be like, you need to put boundaries with that person, you need to have boundaries with your partner and your brother and your parents, but you need to have them with yourself too. If not, you should absolutely have boundaries with yourself. And in the world of technology nowadays, these boundaries need to be put in place. You need to have boundaries to not constantly check your phone every 2 minutes, you need to have boundaries to not, reread messages and try and find hidden meanings behind them, and not dropping your standards just because you like someone. This also kind of ties into self-respect, because if you start to have a crush on someone who likes oat milk and you don't, but you start rearranging your entire personality for them, that is the first sign. The boundaries that you place and keep with yourself are the boundaries that you maintain and keep in your relationships. Now, I don't want you guys to think that I'm telling you all these things and I'm saying if you don't do these things, you're gonna fail and you're not going to get into a good relationship. No, I'm not saying that you have to be perfect at these things. It's about becoming grounded. It's about knowing who you are and having self-respect and self-love, because when you're so grounded, that love that comes into your life isn't going to knock you over, because you are so strong within yourself, your morals, your capabilities, your friendship, your fulfillment, and you're not going to have all of those things, and you're going to learn on the job. As I said before, I learned on the job, and yes, it sucked. I went through shitty situations and a lot of hurt and pain to learn those things, which I think in some cases it is necessary if you are so blind and ignorant to your own faults and, other people around you. But at the same time, I think it's very healthy to be self-aware of these things, so you can try and work on them and implement them into your life. Healthy communication, boundaries within yourself. They're so simple but so effective, and you can easily start doing them. Like I said, in the next episode, part 2, we're going to be talking about them, aka jealousy, comparison, not making them your entire personality and world, and how to love without losing your fucking mind. And yes, it will slightly, confront you again, but in a loving, compassionate way. I love you so freaking much. Here is your hug, and I hope you have the best day ever, and just know that, like I said, you are gonna do what you want to do regardless of what I say. Just be careful and watch part 2.